On January 4, 2006, Pierre Ponticelli walked into the National Modern Art Museum at the Centre Pompidou in Paris. He carried with him a small hammer. He used that hammer to crack a urinal in the museum. Innocuous, you might think. The work of a crank. But what if the urinal in question was on exhibit? Technically, this urinal is a piece of art by Marcel Duchamp, and according to a 2004 survey of so-called art experts, this signed urinal, known as Fountain, is the single most influential work of modern art. However, the urinal Ponticelli knocked around was a replica, one of 8, commissioned by Duchamp himself in 1964. The original, from 1917, got lost. The question becomes, is the copy art? Duchamp contended that just the act of choosing an object, in this case a pissoir, is by definition a creative undertaking. In addition, he believed that negating an object's functionality actually creates art. By exhibiting the object, and by giving it a title, the artist then endows the object with entirely different notions, entirely new meanings. But Duchamp's not done, for he all but screams that it is the artist, not the critic, not the dealer, and certainly not the institution of the museum, that determines what is art. Fountain openly mocks notions of taste and tradition, and would just as soon flush the snobs, and more importantly, flush the wealth and accumulative nature of the museum, the supposed fountains of culture, the guardians of the civilized. Duchamp's nom de plume, art mutt, carries numerous possibilities as well. The manufacturer of the urinal was Mott, M-O-T-T. A mutt, M-U-T-T, of course, is a mongrel, a mixture of associations, and dogs certainly do mark their territory. Armut, in German, means poverty, which could be a paucity of creativity, or a lack of values or aesthetic sense by anyone, artist, dealer, collector, viewer. But Duchamp made this all so much worse, or better, depending on your sense of play, by claiming that the R stood for Richard, French slang for a wealthy man, but also a longer version of the very thing that empties into a fountain. What Duchamp forges with Fountain, really, is conceptual art. The idea that we hide our brushstrokes, that we don't call attention to the painting as a painting, started to be ignored in the late 19th century with Van Gogh, Gauguin, and Cézanne, and was picked up later by Picasso and Braque. Duchamp takes it a step further. He aggressively questions the entire undertaking by both asking, "Is this art?" and demanding, "This is art." Then he retreats, sitting back to watch the fireworks that always come with any discussion of Fountain. Which brings us back to Mr. Pierre Ponticelli. The hammer incident wasn't his first encounter with Duchamp. In 1993, he urinated in the fountain, and then hit it with a hammer. Of course, the French state was not amused, since they in fact owned the sculpture. But Ponticelli, a performance artist, claimed that he had attacked but a replica of the work. To be honest, he's right. He also argued that the hammer blow, quote, was that of the auctioneer's gavel coming down on a new work of art. In a way, he's right again. Moreover, Ponticelli insisted that his well-aimed strikes actually added value to this particular replica, since it now had a story to differentiate itself from the 7 others. To be blunt, his argument's a pretty good one. When you consider Duchamp's own definition of the ready-made, Mr. Ponticelli didn't vandalize or destroy. He created something new. Unfortunately, the French court didn't agree. But then they, like the museums and collectors, don't understand the high irony of fake fountains being worth more than the lost original. Arbiters of aesthetics perchance don't understand that the fountain probably should never have made it to a museum in the first place. These same folks probably never considered the actual cultural implications of a repository for official art. By pushing the fountain into the mainstream, into the world of art bureaucracy, they've killed whatever revolutionary claim fountain once possessed. My hunch? Duchamp would have approved of Poncelli's mischief with hammers and urine, for it falls into that Dadaist spirit of derision, rejection, provocation, and yes, oh yes, such wickedly wicked humor. And that's why we love Duchamp. That's why we love